Neill Blomkamp and Charlton Copley team up for the third time for another sci-fi epic. Let's see if it holds up to their other two movies. But this time about a robot. Okay, so Chappie. Chappie stars Dev Patel, and he's the same dude from Slumdog Millionaire, and he's the super genius engineer who brings this onslaught of robotic police forces. Cause you know, the streets of Johannesburg, it's pretty bad. You know, like in District 9, you see that in this movie. And his police force Robocops are doing an incredible job. They're like blowing people away. Except they don't do this, they do more of this, you know what, forget it. Until one of his robots gets blasted, and he's like, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity for me to give this machine an AI, you know, with his own thoughts and feelings. He eventually gets tangled up with these thugs, and there they witness the birth of Chappie, the first AI robot. And we get to see Chappie grow through his programming, and that's really the basic plot. There's so much more to the movie. And once again, this movie is written and directed by Neill Blomkamp, the same guy who brought us Elysium, District 9. I think they are both great science fiction movies. He has a really clever way of blending certain science fiction elements with realism and a political aspect. You can actually say, oh my gosh, I can see this shit happening. And just like those two movies, you see the exact same thing with Chappie, and Chappie was awesome. And I deeply apologize that my intro kinda misled you in a certain way. The main stars of the movie, like Dev Patel and Hugh Jackman, I really like their characters. I actually bought them. Dev Patel kinda had that love and passion towards his work, and especially towards Chappie, where it got to the point where he viewed the robot as his own child. Cause you have to admit, when you see months of work or even years come to life, you're gonna treat it like your own flesh and blood. It's just natural. And thank goodness he redeemed himself from that one movie, you know, where he was in it and M. Night Shyamalan directed it, and it was bad. I think saying this is bad is like being way too nice to it. And Hugh Jackman was actually the villain in this movie. I mean, he was good, but he wasn't like up to par like how Charlton Copley was in Elysium. Because Kruger, man, oh shit, he was such a badass. And Hugh Jackman, I was like, okay, you did stuff. Cool. I mean, I'm not putting his character down or anything. I mean, he was a functional villain. It was just nice to see him play the bad guy for once. And especially the thugs that Dev Patel kind of teams up with, you care about them and why they're a part of the story. That kind of weird, freaky looking girl, she was my favorite of the thugs. She was like the mama of Chappie. And plus Chappie, voiced by Charlton Copley, he does a fantastic job with the voice work. The robot itself was like the coolest thing about the movie. When he first rises up, you're like, whoa, you know, he's a robot with massive intelligence, and you know that he's gonna grow. He was like a really lovable kid. It got to certain parts where you're really attached to Chappie. He was going through his journey about learning human behavior and how they speak, and which turned out to be pretty comedic scenes. He's all being gangster and holding a gun like this and speaking like this, Holmes. And it just showed that Chappie had a lot of heart for a robot. Plus, it got to a few parts where you felt really bad for Chappie. If a movie makes you care about a robot, then you know it's doing something right. Sometimes you don't even think he's a robot. Like, he's an actual human being. And for a movie to be named Chappie, you must be thinking, oh, it's just about a robot, which it is, but there's so much more going on than just Chappie itself. It dives into the aspect of how humans think and how they feel, and it can be like the next step to artificial intelligence. It really explores both humans and technology, and this movie executes that in a very clever way. You walk out of there going like, yeah, that was a really clever movie. And I'm gonna breeze past this real quick, is that there were a few action scenes, but when they happened, it was actually really cool to watch. The cinematography and the score that was going on, it got pretty intense in some scenes. Wasn't as much action like it was in Elysium, but you know, it was about the story, and I really liked that. So in the end, Chappie had great characters. You basically cared about everybody. Chappie was the best character in the movie. He was funny, some scenes were heartwarming. It was really nice to see that in a Neill Blomkamp movie. I like the message it kind of gives at the end. I was like, that was a really clever movie. And because of that, I say Chappie is a very strong silver screen gem. Neill Blomkamp is 3 for 3, man. It makes me so excited for his upcoming Alien project. And after this movie, I really believe he has the potential of being the next great science fiction storyteller. Guess we just have to see that with Alien. Have you guys seen Chappie? What did you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, leave a comment below. And as always, there's a link below for my Twitter and my Facebook. Keep in contact with me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But in the meantime, I have to get going. And don't forget to check out Austin Gaby's channel in the description below also. A loser to the competition.